Peter, welcome. I obviously know who you are. We've worked together, but for the idea of these videos to give the audience a little bit more understanding of what happens behind the scenes, as it were, with IASeminars, can we start off by introducing yourself and your title, your position with IASeminars?
Sure. Well, I'm Peter Douglas, and my position in IASeminars, job title is Product Director.
And how long have you been with IASeminars?
Oh, I want to say 5 years now.
You want to say
really.
5 years? Say 5 years. Let's go for 5 years. So,
Sure.
Product Director, what does that basically entail on a, let's say, on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, I am looking after what product IASeminars is putting out there, and obviously that product is essentially the training that we offer.
Yeah.
So I'm looking after what courses we're putting on offer, but more specifically, what new product we could be offering as the industry develops.
Yeah. So I mean, we talk about change. For the 5 years that you've been with the company, you've seen that change. What sort of change has come through, and what sort of change do you think is in the pipeline?
Well, it's interesting. So change comes, I suppose, from all sorts of different direction, and one of the most obvious examples of an external change was brought up on us by the pandemic recently. Yeah. So where we had traditionally offered all of our courses face-to-face in a physical environment in venues all over the world, we, as did many, had to consider how we were going to offer the equivalent training, but on a virtual environment like this.
Yeah.
And that sounds like it's going to be quite easy, but you know, if you don't pay too much attention, it is quite easy. But we actually took quite a lot of time to select the correct kind of platform for us, knowing how we wanted to deliver our training. And we spent a lot of time with our instructors as well. That's part of my responsibility, is making sure the instructors are happy with the new technology that we're bringing in, so they are able to be effective. Yeah.
So do you think
that's an example of an external change? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, do you think then that the challenge, I mean, you know, we all know about COVID and the problems it's created, but do you think that challenge has actually created opportunities for the business longer term as well?
It absolutely has, in that we don't see us removing our virtual offering anytime soon, basically. So because we've actually found it's reached some people that maybe wouldn't have come to a course in London or a course in New York, etc.
Yeah.
And actually some people prefer to take the training like that. Don't get me wrong, there's still a big place for our face-to-face training, and we've been delighted over the last number of months to be able to run a number of courses as we had always done. But we will now always have our virtual offering in parallel.
Right. And then I suppose in terms of the course content itself, for example, if I got an idea for a new course, you're the person that I've got to get it through then, presumably, before it can become live.
Absolutely. And I would love that it was always in that direction, but more often than not, I'm knocking on your door to say we're interested in doing a course in this area, you know. And actually, as you know, Rob, I think we really pride ourselves at IASeminars with how we keep our community of instructors engaged with what we're doing and what our various strategies are. Because, well, not only so you know what we're up to, because we actually know our instructors can give us really useful input into what they see is happening in the market, what demands they're seeing in the real world, as it were, which is enormously helpful to me because it helps us prioritize what we're doing. But yes, once you come to me with ideas, then the first thing I'm going, we have a look at what's going on, all the standard products stuff, what's going on elsewhere. But we will work with yourself or other instructors to kind of hammer out actually, well, what is this course setting out to do? Who are we aiming it at? What are the learning objectives, etc., etc. And when you get that hammered out, it makes the job of like putting it up on the website and for people to be able to identify that that's going to be a useful course for them much easier. So all that stuff needs to be really, really clear, I think, and I help with that. And I'm not an accountant. I don't know, and we deal with a lot of technical courses, and I don't know that stuff. And it's the same for the ESG stuff, although I know a bit more about that. But you need that back and forth, I think, that collaboration.
I was going to say the collaboration. Myself. Absolutely. Okay, so that's key to it. Right. So these letters, ESG. I was going to ask you about that. You've already raised the subject. So, in your opinion, then, Peter, I mean, this is the new area of product. How big do you think this is going to be, and how much into the future do you think it's going to create? Learning and training opportunities for everyone and requirements for everyone.
Well, I think the opportunity is very big. Although don't ask me to quantify it at this point, as the situation. So the idea of ESG reporting, or it's gone under a number of different guises, actually for a good number of years. It's been around for a while, right? So sustainability reporting, there's all sorts of different labels that you can use. But I think what's happening just now is that the drivers for businesses or other organizations to have to report on these various metrics, it's essentially moving from kind of soft law to hard law. It's going from recommendations to you must report on X, Y, Z if you're wanting this funding, if you're wanting investment from us, all this kind of stuff.
And do you think that's going to keep you busy then for a long time? Because of
I think it's going to go on for quite a long time, because as we've seen with the international accounting standards like IFRS or maybe IPSAS and things, it's one thing to start bringing out the standards, but what actually happens is as they see the standards being used, as they see precedents being set, implementation issues, they iterate on those standards. So it's not like they're going to get it absolutely right the first time. Now, there's a number of standards out there already, but actually what's happening is that the standards are kind of coalescing, that the bodies that set these frameworks and standards for ESG reporting are starting to come together. So what is quite messy right now and a bit undirected, I think it's fair to say, is going to get a lot more direction. And alongside that, there's going to be a lot more mandating going on that is going to push the need for this training. Whether people agree with the idea of ESG reporting or not,
it's irrelevant.
They have to do it, basically.
So for someone who's not an accountant, you seem very, very well informed. Maybe you should come to do some training yourself.
I don't think that's where my area of expertise lies. And
so when I'm thinking, then if there's a course that comes up, if I'm looking on the website and I see a course for, let's say, ESG, anybody out there that clicks on a course or is going through to a course that's about ESG, they will know that you've been involved somewhere along the line in terms of getting that course live, helping with the design of that course, making sure the quality is there, etc., etc. And that's what we want to find out. We want to know who's there behind the scenes. Very, very interesting.
That's exactly it. And I do find it very interesting because whilst I don't necessarily know those things, and I guess I could actually, to be honest, I am learning quite a lot as I attend the courses myself. But there's nothing that beats the expertise that people like yourself and our new instructors for ESG are bringing with them. In fact, that's important to us for well, not just our ESG courses, but all of our courses. The instructors that are giving them have got real world experience and recent real world experience, which helps people understand the standards a bit better. Anybody can read the standards. It's actually more about all the fun and games of the corner cases, all that kind of stuff.
No, that's a good point. But again, I would say, you know, from other interviews, other conversations, that the collaborative process, the whole thing doesn't fit together without all this collaboration that's going on. Very, very important. Now, a couple of just final questions then, Peter. One thing, let's say in your 5 years with IASeminars, is there one or two things that stand out for you as a sort of a major achievement? Major, like, oh, I'm so, you know, I'm chuffed to bits with that. Or is it all of it?
I think I'm actually really pleased. I'm going to cheat and do a couple of things.
Go for it.
I'm really pleased about how we managed our transition from traditional face-to-face to virtual, because we actually took a lot of care over how we did it. I already said about choosing the platform, but we really made a big effort to work with our instructors to make sure that they were happy with the technology. We didn't just say, okay, using Zoom and off you go, because we're kind of using, as you know, features in Zoom, like the polling question, the breakout
chance to the interaction, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So we proactively thought about, because there's advantages of being face-to-face in a room, but there's actually some advantages to being virtually as well. There's pros and cons to both. So we wanted to make sure that we were proactively leveraging all the advantages that the virtual does bring us.
Okay.
And then I would say I'm really pleased about my role in identifying ESG as an area that we want to move into. It's great for us because, as it just happens, naturally accountants find themselves a little bit in the middle of the ESG conversation at a time where their roles are also changing because of the automation of various things that they're doing. And accountants have a lot to bring to the table, like looking at and managing this non-financial information in the same way that they do financial information. And so it's a natural fit for us, particularly with these international standards bodies kind of coming together. So I'm really pleased with that. I think we've gone in the right direction, and everything so far is showing us it's been the right decision. The ESG courses have doing very well for us, and as you know, we're continuing to grow our portfolio as the standards themselves develop as well, and people get further through the life cycle. At the moment, they're just wanting to find out about what's this all about, but we will very naturally come to the point where people are seriously needing to understand what it takes to report.
And as you say, it's going to run.
And that's what we believe, and I think that's what we will see coming over the next few years. And it's a relatively long game, because standards don't get written overnight.
They don't get written overnight. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Brilliant, Peter. So one thing then to finish, then, it's something that I've sort of been asking everybody. Is there something, an interesting fact, if you like, about yourself that you'd like to share with everybody?
Define interesting.
There's no standard on that.
No, exactly. An interesting fact about us, I suppose the most obvious one is I'm a super huge geek. You know, there's no hiding it. The reason my background is blurred right now is you'd just be seeing all my Lego, comic books, all sorts of things.
That was what I was hoping you'd talk about, the Lego, because I heard about it. So everybody now wants to see the Lego. So you are a Lego geek.
I am, absolutely. Yeah, I'm
a comic geek.
I'm a member of a Tartan Lug, which a Lego users group, and obviously because I'm in Scotland, it's Tartan. So yeah, no, I'm that's
a brilliant fact.
Proactive, yeah. Yeah, so I do enjoy it. Actually, a lot of people I've been doing Lego for quite a long time, but a lot of people have taken it up during the pandemic. It's a really good activity for a lot of people. Yeah. So yeah, lots of grown-ups.
So then, just to end that conversation, do you have, if you like, a favorite, kit that you would want to put together, or maybe have put together, and Do you put them together and take them apart, or what's the favorite one?
Yeah, no, I do put them together, and I also take them apart more from necessity, because essentially I'm not allowed to build another one until one's taken away and makes a bit more space.
Oh, that's
and
great.
I'll leave you to read into that, the dynamics there. But actually, I guess my favorite one is the thing that kicked it back off for me in my adult years, which is I got the Lego Death Star from Star Wars, which is actually a really big set.
That's a big set, yeah.
And that's actually still built in my living room just now, and I really love that. And that's kind of what kicked it all off again for me.
And that would be the next video.
Oh, really?
Yes, a view of the Death Star. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. That's really interesting. Peter, thanks so much. Really, really great talking to you. And thanks a lot. All the best. And happy birthday,
No
IASeminars.
Yeah, happy birthday, IASeminars.
Cheers for now.